Hello you wonderful YouTubers, welcome to my channel. You currently find me, well actually I don't know where you find me because I put in a random sat-nav route of 30 miles and so far it's taken me through towns and country roads. Now I know where I am. The Horse and Jockey. It's a good landmark that is, it tells me exactly where I am. So yeah, my Beeline navigation tool, you can just see on the left hand handlebar. And the road map that goes this, how can I put it? The route finder that comes with it has a random route selector. I love that little humpback. And you can put in the mileage you want to do, be it 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever, and it will select a random route for you. I did put in several before this one because one of them actually wanted to take me to the Isle of Wight, so I had to say nah to that one because it's a bit expensive going over on the ferry with a motorbike. It's expensive going over as a foot passenger. If you've got any vehicle of any sort, it's downright rude. And what have I been up to this week? I've been quite busy actually, one thing and another. And Saturday I took my 3 granddaughters. I have seven grandchildren, 4 boys, 3 girls, and we had a wonderful time at a panto in Rowlands Castle. It was great fun, and I'm very honoured to know one of the ladies that does the dramatics and the administration for it. Used to work with her when I was working in Highbury College, which is now the City of Portsmouth College, and lovely lady with a wonderful singing voice, and yeah, it was great. It was a production of Beauty and the Beast, and they did an absolutely brilliant job. Absolutely brilliant. If you're in that area, or if you know of that area, have a look on their site, their website. They're called Curtain Up Productions. Get yourself on there and see what they got coming up. The next one is Wind in the Willows, so I should be going to that one as well to see what they get up to. Also, Saturday night, straight after dropping off my granddaughters, hold on a sec, let me just get past this junction. There we go. Yeah, so Saturday night I had a regimental reunion. Happens once a year at this time of the year. And it's a good chance to see all the people you don't normally see, some of which I've known for 50 years or more. And it's always great to see them. Even the ones I don't know, it's great to see that they're turning up. And of course I went around shaking hands with so many people, and I've got to admit at my age sometimes it's difficult remembering their names. I turn 68 next month. Oh, happy birthday to me. And yeah, so names don't come so readily. Faces I never forget, but names, they're a bit of an enigma sometimes. So that was brilliant. But now this week, for this week's entertainment, I am putting together the Gosport railway system. Well, I'm not actually building it, I'm just putting together a history for you, so hopefully you'll enjoy that. Got a little bit more to do, but I'm hoping to have this out by Wednesday, so fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. So I'm just going to go a bit quiet now. It's going to be a mixed mash of footage. Hopefully it'll be seamless, because when it does change it'll be behind the pictures of the railway. So fingers crossed you won't even notice. So, enjoy!
My hometown of Gosport is reputed to be one of the biggest towns in England without a train infrastructure. However, that's not always been the case, and in bygone days between 1841 and 1953, Gosport did once have a thriving rail system, and one for over 100 years. This included 4 main lines and several stations built at varying times, boosting tourism, trade, and supplying the Navy and Army with essential supplies, whilst further receiving visits from Queen Victoria before her passing in 1901. The London and South West Railway, having failed to achieve a railway line to Portsmouth Harbour, constructed a line to Gosport to serve the harbour area and the naval dockyard. The branch line started at Bishopstoke, which then became Eastleigh, to Gosport via Fareham. The main terminus was built on land owned by Isaac Legg, near the main gateway into the town, and the building itself was designed by architect Sir William Tite. Work started on the main Gosport station in the early 1840s at a cost of £10,980, or in today's money that's £1,455,682. The main features of the building were its single-storey construction and 14 pillared colonnades on the south side. The height of the building was dictated by the necessity to retain the field of fire of the guns of the ramparts of town. Although the building was completed in late 1841, it had opened and closed within 4 days due to a landslide north of Fareham, and the line did not open again until February 1842. The cost of the single fare to London ranged from 8 shillings and sixpence in an open wagon and 22 shillings in a covered carriageway. In today's money that would be £46.40 and £150 9p respectively. The main station has been used by VIPs, royalty, prisoners of war, servicemen and the general public, and was the starting point for the first ever railway telegraph. The station remains as a reminder of past glories, and its future has been assured for future generations by converting it into offices and housing. It is well known that Queen Victoria and Prince Albert acquired Osborne House near East Cowes in 1845. Because of this, swarms of people descended onto the Isle of Wight for their holidays. Unfortunately, the journey there was not a convenient one, and the route from Southampton to Cowes by steamer was feasible, but a shorter journey via Portsmouth was somewhat quicker. The greatest difficulty for the Victorian family going on holiday was getting from Portsmouth Station to a steamer berth for the crossing. The Portsmouth Station back then was the present-day Portsmouth and Southsea Railway Station. The harbour extension had not been built until 1879. So, 2 businessmen formed a partnership with a plan to make a better ferry crossing, and on the 21st of November 1854 registered the intention to make an independent railway line to a new pier at Stokes Bay on the coast. From the Gosport railway station to the LSWR, Stokes Bay was the nearest point on the mainland to Ryde, Isle of Wight, which is only 2.5 miles away, so a short crossing on the Solent would be possible. They formed a company called the Stokes Bay and Isle of Wight Railway and Pier Company. The plan was to build 1.5 miles of new railway, trains would run onto the pier, and the transfer to the steamer would be direct and easy. A ferry operation was essential to make the scheme viable, and a separate Isle of Wight ferry company was floated on the 21st of July 1856. With capital of £20,000, it was to make and operate a floating bridge between Stokes Bay and Ryde. This was to be a chain ferry in which the vessel was permanently attached to a fixed chain between Stokes Bay and Ryde. However, labour, materials and practicality costs made the idea of a chain ferry over that distance not viable. After several delays, the pier finally opened on the 6th of April 1863. The station was at its busiest when the Queen was in residence at Osborne House, when people would once again swarm to the island for their holidays and for a chance of a glimpse of Her Majesty. On the 22nd of January 1901, the Queen died at Osborne House. Hasty funeral plans had to be made when she died, and on the 1st of February of that year, her body was brought across the Solent and lay in state overnight behind the guardhouse of St George's Barracks. The following day, many crowned heads of Europe and their escorts boarded the funeral train at the Royal Victoria Station and accompanied the body to London and then on to Frogmore. A unique and very important occasion, not only in the history of Gosport branch, but also of the town itself. Weather stations opened in Gosport to accommodate the various industries and tourism requirements. The main industry line for naval armaments and supplies would have been the Brockhurst Station line. This was the first station from Fareham, and all other lines peeled off from that one. The station opened on the 1st of November 1865 and remained in service until 1953. It was situated on the east side of Military Road, and the station's name was changed to Fort Brockhurst in 1893 to avoid confusion with Brockenhurst Station in the New Forest. It originally had 2 platforms, but a third one was built when the Leon Solent branch opened in 1894. In this aerial view, you can see the old station of Brockhurst, which is now someone's home, and in this smaller scale shot you can see the old track route, which is now a bus and a lane, come walk and cycle lane, which is now called Henry Court Way, which these days terminates around a road bridge for the buses but continues to the station and beyond for bikes and walkers. The Leon Solent line was a 3-mile long railway on the Gosport coastline. It was built by the Leon the Solent Railway Company, promoted in association with the landowner's wish to develop a new seaside resort on his land. It ran from Leon the Solent to the Fort Brockhurst station on the Gosport line of the London and South Western Railway, but there was no through running. The company tried to operate at extremely low operating costs and ran into conflict with the operational requirements of the Board of Trade. It opened its line in 1894, but the line was not commercially successful, and after some military usage before 1918, patronage declined as road users' services increased in reliability. The line closed to passengers in 1931 and goods traffic on the 8th of June in 1953. When the line closed, the station that was literally the end of the line became the arcade amusements I remember with my sisters when we spent our tuppence on machines that me and my sisters played on. Now the good old days. Another station was Pretty's Hard, which was serviced by a rail link from and to Bednam in the Bridgemerry area on the line which is now Henry Court Way, as I mentioned before. It allowed the transfer of ammunition between the 2 depots, and it was inevitable the railway would traverse public roads and make the provision of gates essential at these points. In Hardway, gates were installed at the Green Road, Grove Road and Elson Road crossings, and these required gatemen responsible for closing the roads when an ammunition train was expected. All the gates have now been removed for the sake of new roads, but luckily a chap called David Maber took photographs to document them, so at least the history stays alive. If you were to walk the old train lines, which are now footpaths, there will be various artefacts as you go. One of these is the Jackie Spencer Bridge near Stokes Bay, which is a disused railway bridge on the Stokes Bay line, which was built pre-1900s. The bridge is located at the eastern end of the Little Anglesey Lake. On the western side of the structure is a weir which allows a limited exchange of tidal water in and out of Stoke Lake. This weir is estimated to be around 35 to 40 years old, but the construction and makeup of the foundations of both the railway bridge and the weir are unknown and a bit of a mystery. You can also walk to the Brockhurst station, but as I said earlier, it is now private residence, so the station and the immediate area is private land, so you can't go on it. However, the platform is still there, and although the rails are no longer there, the gravel is. Well, that's it for the history this week. I hope you enjoyed it. My thanks go to the archives of these photographs that I've used here. I couldn't do these videos without them. Next week, I will be doing a bike history of the Montgomery Motorcycle Company. That's it for this week. Thanks very much for joining me. Sorry it's a bit late. Lots of things going on this week. So as I say, next week I'll be doing the Montgomery motorcycles. I look forward to it. Until then, stay safe, be safe, and ride safe. Goodbye.